Okay guys, Bella and I are going to discuss the first steps for first-time home buyers, and that's going to be finding a real estate agent, believe it or not. And when you find a real estate agent, one of the first things you want to ask them is if they have a lender they recommend. Most real estate agents will have really good lenders that they work with. You don't have to use the one they recommend. If you know somebody, if you have a family member that's had really good experience with the lender, that's always a good thing to go use them. And the same with real estate agents. You can either call and interview them blindly, or you can see if your family knows anybody. If you need help, you can always reach out to me and message me. The company I work for, the brokerage I work for, is EXP, and we've got like almost 100,000 agents nationwide, and I can figure out what you want and who to match you with and hook you up with one of our realtors somewhere and anywhere you're at. I'm over in southern Colorado in the San Luis Valley area, so if you want to buy something out here, just give me a call. So that's the first thing you want to do. Find an agent and find out a little bit about them. See if you guys match. Let them know exactly what you're looking for. Let them know your history. And I know a lot of you guys out there are like, oh, I can't buy a house. I don't make enough money. I don't have credit. I don't have this. You have all kinds of excuses not to try to buy a house. And if you get a realtor that you meld with good, and I'm not going to say if you find a good realtor, I'm going to say that you find one that you meld with, because you have to be able to build a relationship with that person. And not everybody gets along. That's all it is to life. Like, I grew up riding horses. I'm a horse person. I'm not going to get along with the realtor that's going to try to sell me a penthouse in New York City. I want somebody that has got horses and cattle, and we can have a conversation while we're waiting on something for real estate. You know, we can talk about mutual interest. And you don't have to be twins. You don't have to have everything in common, but you do want to have something in common. So they have to understand the type of house that you're liking and why you like it and why you need it, because everybody has deal breakers. And my deal breaker, if I was looking for a house right now, it's got to have land. It's got to have a nice barn for my horses. And that's non-negotiable. I don't care about the house. Got to have a nice barn. So those are things that you'll want to ask. Make sure you guys have something that will help her or him understand exactly what you're looking for. And once you get going with a realtor, so you say you find a realtor, you like them, you want to get started, they're going to give you lender contact information. It's perfectly fine. Call 2 or 3 lenders. When you call them, there's a lot of questions you're going to ask, and I'm going to cover those in a lender interview video, because that's a very important conversation you have to have with your lender. There's specific types of loans, and if you tell your real estate agent that, hey, I'm a first-time buyer, I don't make a lot of money, I don't know what my credit looks like, just different stuff like that, she'll know which lender she uses to hook you up with. Because some, especially if you're in the cities, some agents will have multiple lenders, and they'll need to hook you up with one that specializes in your situation. Most lenders can handle everything, but some kind of specialize. Like if you're a veteran, it's really good to have a lender that specializes in veteran loans, because any of the government-backed loans can be difficult to get into, and a good real estate agent will know how to direct you if you give her that information. So another thing, be respectful to your agents. That's a really big deal for us. It's important for you guys to understand. Real estate agents work 100% commission. We don't get salary. If we go out and show you 25 houses and then you decide you want to go work with your cousin's friend's mom that just got her license 6 months ago, you know, that's a lot of time and fuel and money that you wasted on our part. So be respectful. Try to remember that. And then also try to understand, we have rules that we have to follow that are set in place by NAR, which is the National Association of Realtors, they make rules for us to follow. Our state makes rules that we have to follow. So every state's going to be a little bit different. They're all going to have their own set of rules. And our brokerages have rules. We have to follow rules that our brokerages set in place. So one of the rules we have to follow, set in place by NAR, it's non-negotiable, is called a buyer agency agreement. And we are not allowed to show you a house without that agency agreement being signed. So it's important for you to know that you want to work with that agent and you like that agent before you start asking them to show you houses. And they are going to require that you sign that agency agreement. So just keep that in mind when you're calling agents. And that's pretty much the very first step, is find an agent you like, get connected with their lender, and start the pre-approval process. And the pre-approval is very important, guys. You don't want to go out and find a house and fall head over heels in love with it and find out you can't afford it. That is a heartbreaker. I've seen people do it so many times. You're perfectly fine looking on the internet, shop all over, Zillow, Realtor, whatever. I don't want to throw too many names out there, but you guys know where you're shopping. Look for houses online, find houses, figure out your style, figure out your neighborhood, and you got an idea of what you're looking for and what to tell the agent when you start talking to them, where you want to live, how you want to live. You know, there's, like I said before, certain deal breakers. It's got to have a swimming pool. It's got to have 2 master bedrooms or enormous kitchen, whatever you want. Make sure your agent knows all of these things before she starts setting up a search and looking at houses for you. And you really don't want to look too hard into houses until you get pre-approved. And the reason why, we'll go deep into this on the lender video, but there's different kinds of loans, and not every house qualifies for every loan. So that is very important to know what type of loan your lender is going to pick for you, what's the best loan option for you. And then you go back and tell your agent, okay, this is my type of loan. I have to find a house that fits into these guidelines. And then she knows, okay, we can look at any house if it's a conventional loan, or if it's a government-backed loan, then we have to look at specific houses that don't need any work. Very specific guidelines on the government-backed loans, and those are your veterans, your FHA, your CHAFA is a Colorado loan, so you guys, if you're not in Colorado, you won't know about that one, but you can ask your lender if your state has a state-backed loan. And then, of course, there's USDA. Those are probably, in my experience, excuse me, here in the Valley, those have been one of the most difficult loans to work with. But they get you in, you know, with no money down and stuff. So they're not a bad loan, but they are difficult. And you just have to be prepared for all of the loops you have to jump through. So those are important things to know. Find the agent, find the lender, and get pre-qualified. And respect your agent. And don't worry about the buyer agency. Most agents, if you decide later that you don't want to work with them, they'll let you out. But there's one thing, if they've shown you a bunch of houses, so say like you go out and you want to see 20 houses and they show them to you, and then you decide, well, I don't want to work with them, I want to work with someone else. If you go back and buy one of those houses that agent showed you, if you go use your cousin's friend's mom and you buy that house that she showed you, you are going to pay her 3% or 2% or whatever her commission is. You're going to be responsible for paying it because you're under that buyer agency. And that's the side where the buyer agency protects the real estate agent. And that you also have to sign in that buyer agency that you're not working with any other agents, because we're not allowed to step on each other's toes. That's an ethics thing. So you have to pick one agent, work with that agent, don't call any other agents, don't go running around calling the seller's agent because your agent didn't answer the phone when you called. A lot of different moving parts there, but all of that should be discussed with your agent and explained, and just make sure that everything is, you know, in a good time frame. Make sure that you find one that calls you back and texts you and answers you the way that you want to be. If you're in a hurry and a rush and can't wait, make sure that your agent understands that and you get one that'll get back to you fast. So that is the very first step, guys. And if you think you can't buy a house, then you know what, you can't, because you're not going to try. So go try, talk to an agent, talk to a lender. I'm going to do another video on getting approved, and if you can't get approved today, I'll walk you through the steps to get approved in 6 months to a year, whatever your lender tells you. That'll be on another video. So right now, find your agent. If you have any questions, my email is on my YouTube page, and you can also comment in the comments, and I'll try to follow all the comments and check and see and answer your guys' questions. But that's about it for the very first step. So I hope you guys got something out of that. Sorry for coughing and hacking. The allergies are kicking my butt today, but there you go.